I just finished with a client and I thought maybe I should put this out. Perhaps it might help some other persons. And I know this may not be the perfect video that I always do. Of course, it's been a long while that I recorded the video last. So I just wanted to share this with you and to walk you through 7 reasons why you should consider therapy. If you have actually been there and thinking, should I go for therapy? Should I not go for therapy? Should I be there? Should I not be there? This video will probably be a lot helpful to you. And so number 1 reason why you should consider therapy is because therapy is a gym for your mental health. And when I say therapy is a gym for your mental health, what I mean is this. Of course, some of you go to gym, some of you go have gyms in your house, some of you have machines that you use to carry out exercise and fitness. The same way you do fitness for your physical body, that is the same way you should be doing or exercising fitness or mental fitness for your brain, for your mind. And so one way to achieve that mental fitness is therapy. Now, therapy is not the only way to do that, but therapy is one of the ways. And in fact, if you follow this particular episode to the end, you will understand why I'm saying that. Number 2 reason why you should consider going for therapy is when you don't want things to actually go wrong. I worked with a client recently, and the client originally knew that things were going to go a certain way. Somehow, he didn't trust his guts because he just didn't want to say, that doesn't want to come to that point of accepting that things were going to go wrong. And so things went wrong. Now, there are different areas where things could go wrong. Things can go wrong in business, things can go wrong in your relationships, things can go wrong in your marriage, things can go wrong in your behaviors, things can go wrong in different ways. Therapy is a way to find solution before things go wrong. So it's not when things have actually gone wrong that you need to go to therapy. Sometimes you need to go to therapy even before things go wrong. And that way, therapy now serves as a preventive measure for things going wrong. Number 2 reason why you should consider therapy is when you are looking for an outlet for yourself without being judged. And when I say without being judged, I mean, yes, sometimes therapists may do some little judgment or sometimes maybe major judgments inside their heads. But of course, they cannot voice that judgment. Of course, if you are working with a therapist who's particularly judging you, maybe that's not the right therapy for you. And maybe I'm going to do a different video. I'm going to talk about things you should actually look out for in therapy sessions. Maybe I'm actually going to do a video on that. Now, when you're looking for a way to let out your emotions, to let out how you feel, or to even heal, or to let certain things that you have trapped, you have kept to yourself, when you want to let them out without feeling judged, without being judged, therapy is a good way to do that. And I'm saying therapy because I have seen that happen with a lot of my clients. I've seen that happen severally. And I think if you need to let out, if you need to vent, if you need to push things out, if you need to actually let yourself express some of the repressed emotions as they are called, therapy is a good way to actually do that. Number 4 reason why you should consider therapy is when you're looking for feedback outside of yourself. It's like looking yourself in a mirror. There are a lot of things that you can see. But of course, when you are looking at yourself in a mirror, you can only see the frontal part. You can't see the back part. And now, a therapist can help you see the back that you are not looking at. So while you are being shown yourself, while you are looking at yourself in the mirror, a therapist can probably let you begin to see the other sides that you are not looking at. And so when you are looking for feedback outside of yourself, that's the time you should consider therapy, particularly when it has to do with behavioral or mental issues. Number 5 reason why you should consider therapy is when you're no longer finding fulfillment in what you're doing or who you have been. And when I say what you are doing and who you have been, of course, you probably may have heard me say it several times. A lot of times we focus on what we are doing without paying attention to who we are being. And what you are doing simply is just more of external. Who you are being is more of internal. And so when who you are being is not in alignment with what you are doing, it creates this sense of disconnection. It creates this sense of lack of fulfillment. And when you are feeling that, that's a time to actually consider therapy. And I must mention that around 2011, 2012, in my own life, I particularly experienced that. And when I was looking to my journal, I saw a lot of notes that I wrote about something like, why are you dissatisfied, oh my soul? I was writing things like that in my journal. It was when I became a therapist that I could understand that. At that point, I was actually feeling dissatisfied with what I was doing, dissatisfied with how my life was going, but I didn't know that I needed therapy at that that time. Interestingly, it was somewhere after that time that I actually got into therapy for the first time myself. And today, being a therapist, sometimes when people are sharing with me that they are not finding fulfillment in this, they're not doing it, sometimes I can understand that is what they are currently experiencing, and having been equipped, I can help them through that. Now, at this point, I'm going to mention, if you would like to actually speak with me privately without being judged, of course, you can use the link in the description of this episode. You can use that to schedule a call with me. It's completely free, so you are not paying any money. Still talking about not finding fulfillment, sometimes it starts with internal conflicts. And when I say internal conflict, I mean that there are times that there's just a lot of noise going on at the back of your head. You are just considering a lot of things, and in line with the story that I just mentioned just now of myself back in 2011 and 2012, one of the things that was actually happening to me then was I was beginning to consider, should I go or should I stay? Because I was kind of dissatisfied with the job I was doing. At that point, I was in a paid employment. I was considering, should I quit the particular job I was doing to focus on my entrepreneurial interest, or should I still stay? And part of that, some of the things that were going on around me that time were creating a lot of internal conflict. So a lot of internal conflict, a lot of noise were going on at the back of my head. So those internal conflicts were making me disconnected from the work I was doing. So in case you're finding yourself in such situations, that may be a good time to actually consider going for therapy. And number 6 that I would like to mention here is when you are using things or you are using people as an escape for coping with certain things. A lot of times in our lives, we pick up addictions, we pick up behaviors, we get to start doing certain things without knowing why we are doing them. Of course, sometimes some people use games, some people use sex, some people use drugs, some people use alcohol, some people even use partying, some people use a lot of social media as a way to distract themselves from the pain they are feeling within themselves. This pain, of course, in line with the internal conflict I just talked about now, this pain, all the noise going on internally, they look for something outside of themselves to actually distract themselves from the noise that's going on inside of them. And when you are doing that, when you are using people to meet needs that are supposed to be paid attention to internally, or when you are using things to meet needs that are internal, at that point you should closely consider going for therapy. And when I say that, so let me even mention another story of mine here. There was a time of my life that I was addicted to a particular habit, and in case you're wondering, oh, what kind of habit is it? At that point, it was actually pornography that I was addicted to at that point. And today I can easily share that. Before now, I couldn't share that because it was so shameful. Now, at that point, I was using pornography as an escape route for some of the internal challenges I was experiencing. And it got to a point I was fed up with that. It was that time that I actually began to go for therapy. You don't have to wait till things get out of hand in order to go for therapy. When you are using things or you are using people as an escape route, as a coping mechanism for something internal that you should be taken care of, at that point you need to consider being or going for therapy. The 7 points that I'm going to share with you here about why you should consider going for therapy. When books, videos, articles, or friends are no longer helping, that is a time you need to consider going for therapy. A lot of times when we are experiencing anything, it's very, very easy. In fact, in the age and time that we are in, we can easily just flip on our devices, go on Google, search for what is going on with us, what is going wrong with us, or what is going on with us, and we'll quickly find articles. In fact, sometimes you'll find books. Of course, you see a lot of books behind me, right? Because I personally consume a lot of books. In fact, where's my tablet? If you look at my tablet right now, you see that there are a lot of books. So I have a lot of books, but here's what I want you to understand. A lot of times, books, articles, YouTube videos, podcasts, even friends may no longer be helping. That is, what the advice that they may be giving may no longer be helpful, because there might be things that you have tried, there are things that you have done. Sometimes books, podcasts, videos, articles, maybe even this one, can take care of a large chunk of what's going on with you. But there may be a lot of things that may not be customized, that may be personalized to you. At that point, you need a therapist to actually come in to help you closed that gap between what you have been able, the changes you've been able to make in your life, and the remaining changes you need to make in order to complete the entire transformation you're looking for. What I'm letting you know here is that books, articles, videos, podcasts, learning materials, they all help, but there are times that the help they provide may not be specific to you, may not be something you can easily utilize for yourself. At that point, having a therapist may actually be a lot more helpful than trying to do it yourself. If this episode has been helpful to you, I'd like for you to give me a thumbs up. My mission is to bring you to a place of calmness, confidence, and courage so that you can go pursue the things that truly matter to you in your life. If you have experienced trauma, or maybe the current challenges around the world right now, even in my own Nigeria right now, is currently challenging and posing some threats to your mental health, consider checking the description below this episode to schedule a call with me. It's completely free again. So I want to hear from you. Which of these has been the reason why you have considered therapy before, and which of them is currently making you to consider therapy right now? Let me know in the comments below. I am Dayo Samuel, and you can check any of these videos here right now, because I believe these two videos right here will be very, very helpful to you. I'm Dayo Samuel, and I'm going to see you in the next episode.